Manga and anime are not just simply a trend. I believe that they are the future of illustrated media. Let me explain. If you grew up in the United States, or anywhere outside of Japan in the early 2000s, you're probably familiar with something called anime, or manga. You were probably told that anime is a Japanese style of cartoon, or manga is a Japanese style of comics. But in Japanese, the words anime and manga mean something completely different. The word anime refers to all animation, whether it's produced in Japan or anywhere else in the world. Likewise, the word manga refers to any comic book. So in Japan, the word anime could also refer to Looney Tunes, and the word manga could also refer to Peanuts. So if Japanese people call our cartoons anime, then why do I get upset when we call their anime cartoons, or when we call their manga comics? Doesn't that seem kind of hypocritical? Well, it does, but let me explain why. The reason why is because anymore I'm actually not fond of the words comic or cartoon. I feel that the English word cartoon and the English word comic are inadequate words to accurately describe what they are referring to. Let's start with the word cartoon. Where does this word come from? It originally comes from the Latin word carta, which means paper. And I guess this works because cartoons are drawn on paper, but there's no implication of animation, which is how we use the word cartoon typically today. And where does the word comic come from? You hear about comic books, Marvel, DC, comics. But what does the word comic mean? The word comic literally means funny. And not all comics are funny. But where does this word come from? Well, it comes from newspaper comics, which were newspaper cartoon strips. Over time, the word shifted meaning from being something funny to just meaning sequential images printed on paper to make a story. A comic. But we still say, that's so comic, to mean something's funny. I think it has a psychological effect. It causes comics to be seen as something not serious. I think the word comic is an inadequate word to refer to the medium of comics as a whole. Likewise, I think the word cartoon is an inadequate word to refer to animation as a whole. Now, let me show you the deeper meanings of the words manga and anime, and why I believe that those two words are more accurate to describe the mediums they refer to than the English words. Manga consists of two kanji characters. The second character is ga, which is an image or a picture. And the first character, man, is quite difficult to translate into English. Some say it means reckless or irresponsible.
Manga literally means irresponsible pictures. And believe me, some of these pictures are irresponsible.
But it could also be translated as whimsical or fantastical. So character for character, manga is an image conjured up in the mind of the artist. Now what about the word anime? Well, this actually comes from the English word animation, which is usually only used in an academic sense, not colloquially. Anime is a shortened form of the word animation. So we can think of these two words as basically the same. So what does the word animation mean? Well, it comes from Latin. The word anima means soul or life. Animation literally means giving life. To animate is to give life. I don't think I've ever heard a better explanation of what an animator does. Now, they're not literally causing their characters to come alive, but they are giving life. They are giving movement to the story, to the characters. So, because the words anime and manga are so hyper literal in their meaning and what they mean, as opposed to the words comic and cartoon, this, I believe, is one of the reasons why anime and manga are flourishing, while Western cartoons and comics are failing. Because the Japanese take manga seriously as a medium, and anime seriously as a medium, as opposed to comics, cartoons being, oh, that's just something for kids. Or in the West, we used to think anime and manga are just Japanese styles. No, they're not styles. They are mediums unto themselves. And I believe that these two mediums of anime and manga will replace the old comic and cartoon mediums. Not just in Japan, everywhere in the world. America, everywhere. Because we will adopt the Japanese philosophy behind it. The philosophy of taking illustrated media, be it in printed form or animated form, of treating those mediums as something serious, as an actual legitimate medium, not just as something for kids. Why do I dare to call my works manga if I'm not Japanese? Well, because I believe that the word manga is a better word. It is a more literal, accurate word, and it has zero connotations to it, like the word comic. The word comic implies humor, but not every single comic has to be humorous. There is an English word, graphic novel, which is probably the closest word to manga in the English language. However, I'm not fond of that word because it's too academic. It's like the word animation. It's too long. But anyway, the word cartoon, as I said before, is not adequate to describe animation as a whole. The word animation is, and the best way to shorten the word animation is anime. In fact, in French, they call cartoons dessinime, which literally means animated drawings. And they call comics bande dessinée, which I think I'm saying that right. I don't speak French. But that means basically strips of drawings, drawings in sequence, a comic, but without saying the word comic, because the medium as a whole doesn't have to be funny. Oftentimes it is, but it doesn't have to be.